Charles Coleman Dalton died over a half a century ago after living a quiet life distanced from his fascinating connection to the infamous Dalton gang. Nicknamed Chop, Dalton witnessed his father's murder. On this episode of History Hunters, Jeff visits Lodi Memorial Park in search of the grave of the son of notorious Western bank robber Bill Dalton.
Getting a kick out of this thing because it's pronouncing the name of this town as Lodi.
Use the right lane to take exit 266 onto CA12 east towards central Lodi.
Lodi, see? And it's Lodi. Everybody knows that. Oh Lord, stuck in Lodi again. We're going to find a grave of a gentleman who has a unique and very tragic connection to the old past. His name was Charles, nicknamed Chub Dalton, the son of Western outlaw Bill Dalton. Just pulled into this very historic cemetery, and I believe that Chub Dalton is buried in an above-ground crypt. This looks like a very historic cemetery because the headstones are 1909. You know, you don't see that anymore. You see the flat headstones mostly these days. It takes up less stone, easier to maintain. It's maintenance day here at the Lodi Cemetery. Not sure what that means. So I wanted to come out here to the entrance to show you just how historic looking it is with that arched gate and the little ornate artwork there of the birds eating out of a grape bowl. This is grape country, Lodi, California. There's a lot of vineyards around here, but this section of ground has a different kind of treasure. Old historical bodies. As you can see here with this wrought iron work, it's got a lot of grapevines, signifying that this is a grape growing region. This little plaque states that the mausoleum here was built in 1928. Very Ivy League looking with the ivy all over. Very creepy looking too. But here is a memorial to the victims of the attack on the USS Arizona during Pearl Harbor. This details how the Lodi Memorial Park Cemetery was founded in 1893. This is the oldest cemetery in Lodi. It says there are the remains of fallen soldiers of the Civil War and other wars. Wow. I think Chub Dalton is inside of this older building. Based on the pictures that I've seen, it's an inside mausoleum type of burial. So let's go in and check it out. Very dark in here. I'll be honest, I've been to some mausoleums, but this is kind of creepy in here. I mean, it's dark. I don't know where I'm going to find this grave. Well, based on the color of the stone, I would say that Charles Dalton is in here. I see pink in the photo, and so many, geez. So based on this photo right here, I'd say he's got to be somewhat low in the order of the crypts. That sounds like a movie. Low in the order of the crypts. Oh, there he is. Honestly, did not stage this. There he is. He's right behind this bench. Charles Dalton, 1885 to 1967. Emma Dalton, his wife. Bill Dalton was a member of the Dalton Brothers gang, and Bill started his own gang, and it's believed that he robbed the bank at Longview, Texas. I think it was late May of 1894. Authorities tracked him to Poolville, Oklahoma, where a posse slaughtered him on the morning of June 8th. Story is that Bill Dalton was playing with his two children, Chubb and Grace, out on the porch or somewhere outside, and all hell broke loose when the posse swept in. Bill Dalton dove into the house, got a gun, and dove out the back, and was slaughtered in the backyard in view of his children. Now, whether or not that really happened, we don't know. But we do know this: Chubb did not ever want to talk about it. In fact, to this day, the relatives of Dalton, they do not want to talk about Bill Dalton. I think a lot of people might want to brag about being related to an outlaw like him, but not the Daltons. So Chubb actually lived here in Lodi for 20 years and worked for a manufacturing company and pretty much led a low-key life. And what I find interesting is when I look at his obituary, there's no mention that he was the son of Bill Dalton, the outlaw.
After their father was killed in the Oklahoma shootout, Charles Coleman Dalton and Grace Dalton boarded a train back to Livingston, California with their mother, Jane Blevin Dalton. They accompanied the coffin carrying the shot-up body of Bill Dalton. For a while, they stayed with her parents, Cyrus and Catherine Blevin, at the Blevin family mansion in Livingston. The body was buried in the front yard of this home, near the palm tree to the left. When the Blevins moved from the home in 1897, the body of the dead outlaw was discreetly dug up and buried in the Blevin family plot in the cemetery in Turlock, California. The final resting place of Bill Dalton is actually right over there next to the fence. This is the Blevin family plot. The Blevins were Jane Dalton's parents. Of course, Chubb's the one in Lodi that we're focusing on, but I wanted to bring you out here and show you that this is where Bill Dalton is actually buried. He's over there next to the fence in an unmarked grave, and it was there intentionally because they didn't want anybody knowing that he was here except the family, and it became legend. Well, we came out here one day with the cemetery staff, and we probed the ground and found out that there is a lead casket or lead coffin right there by the fence, and I'll take you over there. It is right by this tree here. Bill Dalton is buried right underneath here. Right there, next to the Cyrus Blevin. We know that because there's a body there. We probed this ground, and I'm walking right over Bill Dalton's grave.
Emma was a Merced County resident, and Charles was born in Livingston, which is where his grandparents were living at the time. It says that she died in a rest home at the age of 82. She outlived her husband by 2 years. It's fascinating that he was a witness to the murder of a notorious Western outlaw, his own father.